Have you ever wondered how to remove pesticides from your veggies and fruit? Hello, my successful and healthy earthlings. Mihaela Rogushia, naturopath and fan of the Natural Health Podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to share with you how to remove pesticides, everything that we don't want to have in our body, from your fruit and vegetables. And at the end of this episode, I'm also giving you the opportunity to join a health and success oriented community by clicking below and joining the Natural Health newsletter. Welcome to the Natural Health Podcast, where we bring awareness to sustainable health in the business hustle space. Natural Health Podcast is perfect for the high performing business minded individuals who want to work with their biochemistry to achieve success and optimal health. It's Tuesday, which means it's time for this week's top product review. Let's get straight into it. What am I talking about? Well, I don't know if you know, but apparently farmers use these things called herbicides and pesticides on our fruit and vegetables. And these things destroy our gut and make it toxic, right? It's not good for us. Newsflash if you didn't know that. But they use them to prevent crops from being ravaged by disease, insect and bacteria. So no, they're not doing it to harm us in particular. They're doing it to ensure that they actually have crops so they're able to make money. Certain crops are actually more susceptible to these than others. Fruit and vegetables with harder skins like pumpkin need less pesticides than soft fruits and vegetables such as strawberries and spinach, right? That's important to know. And it's important to be aware that this residue from these pesticides can leach on the skins of the vegetables and fruit, and sometimes even deeper than that. Unless you remove the skin. But sometimes nobody got time to remove the skin. So what do you do? Well, you want to remove those pesticides, don't you, right? So some of the pesticides, let's go in a little bit. Glyphosate, also known as Roundup, which is an endocrine disruptor. It's been linked to cancer, liver disease, reproductive issues, birth defects, plantar issues, and DNA damage in embryos. Nobody wants that, right? There's also this thing called, which I don't know how to pronounce, atrazines, another endocrine disruptor known to cause serious health issues, especially in utero, resulting in low fetal weight, limb defects, heart and urine complications. Nobody wants that either. Chlorophyllus, linked to neurological effects and development disorders in children, autoimmune diseases and respiratory issues in adults. Nobody really wants that either. There's so many others, right? So what do you do? What can you do? I always say buy organic, 100%. But what do you do if there's no organic around you? If you can't afford it for whatever reason, organic have run out, you go to the shops, nothing organic's available. What do? There's 3 effective ways to remove pesticides from fruits and vegetables. One is you can soak it in salt water. So as soon as you get your vegetables, you fill the sink up with water, you use Himalayan salt or sea salt for 20 minutes. Research actually discovered that 10% of salt water solution is effective for removing common pesticides, including DDT. And then you rinse with water afterwards, right? So you leave it in there for 20 minutes. By the time you unpacked everything else, you just put all the veggies in it, fruit, and that's it. The other way you can do is use bicarbonate soda, also known as bicarb soda, baking soda, to clean your fruits and vegetables. So you add 1 teaspoon of it to 2 cups of water and soak it for 15 minutes. A little bit less than 20 minutes, but hey, and you rinse afterwards. Or you can do what everyone knows to do, is soak it in vinegar. For 20 minutes, you need to use 1 part vinegar, 4 parts water. So if you're using about 10 ml vinegar, you would use about 40 ml water, right? Sometimes people are like, well, that's a lot of vinegar. So just be careful, because some fruit can become a little bit soggy. But what an absolutely amazing solution. You've got salt, you've got bicarb soda, and you have vinegar. Your choice, right? If you can't buy organic, use that 15-20 minutes and soak it. Right, if you want to eat it straight away, remove the skin, soak it, but best of all, buy organics. But if you can't do that, there are some tricks and hacks that you can do to remove those pesticides so they don't go inside your gut and destroy it. They don't go and destroy your nervous system and so forth that we've spoken about. So there you have it, little hack right there for you. If you want to know more information, join the Natural Health Podcast newsletter on Fridays. All of these episodes get dropped, specials, bonuses, guest specials, which are absolutely crazy. People have been raving on about them. Join Natural Health newsletter by clicking below. Thank you for joining us at Natural Health Podcast. Remember, the missing link between failure and success is your health. medical advice or take the place of medical advice or any current treatment you're undertaking. Consult your own medical professionals for any medical issues that you may be having. This entire disclaimer also applies to any guests or contributors to the Natural Health Podcast. It is advised that you consult your doctor or healthcare professional in relation to any health concerns you may be having. Mahela Raguse does not take responsibility for any health consequences which occur from a person listening, viewing, or reading this content. Under no circumstances shall the Natural Health Podcast, Mahela Raguse, any guests or contributors to the Natural Health Podcast, or any employees, associates, or affiliates of Mahela Raguse be responsible for damages arising from the information provided on the Natural Health Podcast. By listening to this podcast, you agree not to use this podcast as medical advice to treat any medical conditions in either yourself or others. Please note, if you're taking prescription, do not stop your medication or start a new protocol, including but not limited to supplements, diet, lifestyle changes without consulting your doctor or healthcare professional. If you or any person has a medical concern, you should consult with your healthcare provider or seek other professional medical advice. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something that you have read or heard on the Natural Health Podcast or in any linked materials. If you think you may have a medical emergency, call your doctor or emergency services immediately. Neither Mahela Raguse nor the publisher of this content takes responsibility for the possible health consequences of any person or persons reading or listening or following the information in educational content.